Many of them have been ignored, but to have the Mayor of London actually really take the mickey out of them by saying, I don't know what you mean, what is she talking about? You knew damn well what I was talking about.
Susan Hall challenges Sadiq Khan in a fiery exchange today. You're not going to believe what just happened. Because while everyone was busy scrolling through today's headlines, something far bigger was unfolding in London, something so direct, so confrontational, that people are still replaying the clip trying to figure out how the tension rose that fast. This wasn't polite politics. This wasn't a carefully scripted moment. This, right here, was raw accountability, and Susan Hall wasn't holding back. You could feel the air shift the moment she leaned forward, pointed right at the issue, and said the words already spreading across social media. No one is above the law. Pause. Just let that settle for a second. Because when a phrase like that is delivered to the Mayor of London directly, publicly, and with the kind of intensity Hall brought, people pay attention. And they did. All right, let's get into the core of this fast. Earlier today, during a London Assembly session that was supposed to be routine, things took a very unexpected turn. The discussion was meant to focus on city management issues, transport delays, policing concerns, budget misalignments. The usual list. But Susan Hall had something else on her mind. She came prepared, armed with documents, timelines, and a voice that carried the frustration of Londoners who feel like the system has been failing them lately. Then, out of nowhere, she pressed Sadiq Khan on a decision he made just days earlier, a decision critics called tone-deaf, supporters called necessary, and the public? Well, the public was still trying to figure out what to think. Hall didn't ease into it. She didn't build up slowly. She went straight to the heart of it. Mayor Khan, the rules apply to you too. Londoners follow them every day. Why shouldn't you? The room went quiet. Even people watching the session livestream said they leaned closer to their screens, waiting for the mayor's reaction. To understand why this moment exploded the way it did, you need the quick background. Over the past week, Khan made a decision involving a public event, one that raised eyebrows across the political spectrum. Critics say the process wasn't transparent enough, that it raised questions about fairness, that the timing felt off. Khan defended it as a normal, perfectly legal administrative action. But Hall saw it differently. And she made it clear today. You can't ask Londoners to follow rules, protocols, deadlines, and then bypass them yourself when it suits you, she said, her voice steady but sharp. What made it even more intense was her tone, not shouting, not dramatic, just firm, controlled, almost surgical. The kind of tone that says, I'm not here to debate. I'm here to expose a contradiction. And this is where the story really picks up momentum. As soon as the exchange hit social media, boom, the reactions came pouring in. On X, formerly Twitter, one user wrote, "Finally someone is challenging Khan properly. This needed to be said." Another posted, "She didn't yell, she didn't insult, she just stated facts. That's how you hold leaders accountable." But not everyone agreed. Some pushed back fast. One comment read, "This is just political theater. She's trying to make a moment for the cameras." Others argued that Khan's decision was being exaggerated for drama. Yet even those who disagreed admitted something important. Susan Hall's challenge landed hard. And once the public starts debating motives, principles, legality, transparency, that's when you know the moment hit a nerve. Inside City Hall, insiders told reporters that they saw the confrontation coming. One staffer said quietly, "She's been building up to this. You could feel it." Another source put it more bluntly. Today's session was always going to be tense. People just didn't know how tense. Even a political analyst on a London radio show added, "Hall understands something. Accountability moments go viral." And she chose her timing very carefully. But the biggest question of the day was still hanging in the air. What exactly did Hall think Khan did wrong? And here's where it gets interesting. It wasn't about accusing him of illegal activity, she never said that. It wasn't about personal attacks, she avoided those completely. It was about process. It was about fairness. It was about whether the mayor followed the same guidelines he expects from everyone else. And that's why the line, "No one is above the law," hit like it did. Because whether you support Hall or Khan, Whether you agree with her interpretation or not, that message resonates with ordinary people who see leaders held to standards they sometimes don't seem to follow. It's universal, it's emotional, and it's a political dynamite. Now, what about Khan's response? He pushed back politely, calmly, but firmly, saying that everything was done within the rules, that Londoners were being misled by simplified narratives, and that the decision was already reviewed internally. But even then, you could tell Hall wasn't buying it. And neither were the commentators, who jumped on their microphones within minutes. On one late afternoon broadcast, a journalist said, "This is the kind of exchange that sticks. It's not about shouting, it's about symbolism." Someone else added, "When politicians argue about laws, fairness, and process, the public listens differently. This isn't noise, this is a warning shot." So here we are. A confrontation that wasn't expected. A challenge that shook the tone of the entire meeting. And a phrase that might follow this administration for months to come. Because once "no one is above the law" enters the discourse, especially in the context of leadership, the story doesn't end easily. It keeps unfolding, resurfacing, and raising questions people weren't asking before. And the real suspense now is this. What happens next? Does Khan address the criticism more directly? Does Hall escalate the issue into a formal inquiry? Do other assembly members step in and take sides? Because if this moment is just the beginning, then the political ripple effects could be far bigger than anyone expected. And one thing's certain. London is watching closely. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and comment.